Can everybody hear me? I can hear myself very weirdly. Good evening, my name is Osman Kazar. I am the outreach coordinator for the Islamic Center. And welcome to our center here. Nice to see you here. And it's nice that we have a full house here, so we even some guests asking for the seats. That's very nice. We have guests mostly from Lover's Day United Methodist Church, and we again welcome you all here. Let me give you a quick, brief introduction about who we are, what we are doing, what we have been doing. Then we are going to have a distinguished speaker joining us later. Our foundation has been established in 2007, and we've been around Dallas and Richardson for about 4 or 5 years now. And we've been in this center for probably more than 3 years now. And the Islamic Center is basically a Muslim organization. It's a mosque, in a sense. We have actually a prayer chamber just across the doors. If you want to check after the whole event, you can actually be praying there right after the sunset. And because it's a regular, Muslim organization, we do provide Islamic religious services to our members. This is basically congregational prayers, just like the ones that you have in your churches, in your religious centers. And also social programs, social outreach programs, such as chaplaincy services in the hospitals and state jails, prisons, and things like that. We have helping hands programs to help those in need in the community, regardless of their faith, and some other programs that help even beyond our neighborhood to help those in need because of the earthquakes and other troubles all over the world. And we actually, let me also introduce Imam Nihat Yeşil, our president, and also our imam is there. You can Also, I have received a few questions about the food tonight. Actually, the food is from a new restaurant just around the corner, I should say. It's called Destan Restaurant, which is opened pretty recently. And it is, I think, at the intersection of 75 and Campbell Road. This is Mediterranean style, Turkish style food. You can always get there if you want. We also thank them for providing the food. I don't know whether they have any members in here, but... Okay, and among the programs that we provide, one is called Abraham's Table. We actually have dinner programs like that, especially during the month of Ramadan. We invite people of different faiths again, our neighbors. We don't ask what do they believe or not, but if we basically say the door is open, come, let's eat and let's talk together. Iftar program it's basically, the Ramadan is specific for, it's very special for fasting. We fast during the day and break the fast right after the sunset. So it basically is an occasion for us to get together with our neighbors. Just like that, outside of the Ramadan, we have these programs. We basically invite guests from different congregations, and we have a speaker. We have a topic, of course, and just like tonight. And then everybody listen, and then we basically ask questions and try to know from each other more, and try to understand our ways of belief, our ways of living, and things like that. And the reason why we call this Abraham's Table is basically, everybody knows, I guess, Abraham is the arch-patriarch, or patriarch, as you say, of three major faiths. Abraham is also a very significant figure in Islam as well. We always, I haven't done it, but we always say, peace be upon him, to signify his importance to our faith. He is the father of, in a way we call he's the father of Islam, in a way. Even Muhammad, upon him, he is related to him. And one of his beautiful traditions is that he didn't start eating if he didn't have any guests around his table. He happened to, I live some kind of tents. I think he opened the sides of the tents, and he looked around, waits for a traveler, a bypasser, and he invites them to his table. Then he starts eating. And that basically encouraged us to give this name, Abraham's Table. So let's come and eat together. As the travelers of these roads, we may be residents, we may be residents around here, but after all, we are travelers through this land and share something in common. And tonight we have a guest, senior pastor of Lover's Lane United Methodist Church, Dr. Stan Copeland. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Mm-hmm. Okay. You may have far more difficulty when you pronounce my name, actually. And let me read his biography for especially our members. Dr. Stan Copeland has been the senior pastor of Lover's Lane United Methodist Church since April 1st, 1998. And his undergraduate degrees are from Long Morris College in Jacksonville, Texas, in Associates of Arts, and also from Centenary College in Shreveport, Louisiana, and that's also in bachelor's in art in sociology. He was an undergraduate of St. Paul School of Theology in Kansas City, Missouri, where he received the Roy M. Brady Preaching Award and Scholarship, and the Aubrey Popple Research and Study Award. He received the Doctorate of Ministry from United Theological Seminary in Dayton, Ohio, with an emphasis on spiritual leadership in a postmodern world, which is, I guess, very essential, especially in this contemporary world. He received, he also has written 2 evangelism books, booklets, The Elders Gate Club and The Copeland Waves. He authored The Sanctuary for Lent, 1993, and he was selected in 1995 as an author for Holy Week Devotions in Disciples, 1995. In June 2006, he published Lord, He Went, Remembering William H. Hinson. Dr. Copeland is married to Tammy, she is here with us, and they have 2 children, Zachary Barnes and Emily Grace. And the title of his speech will be 3 Simple Rules. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Copeland.
Thank you so much, Osman, for that very generous introduction. And I want to thank the Dallas Islamic Center for your incredible hospitality. We are reminded tonight that Abraham's table was a table of hospitality. And just as we share in common this great man of our faith in Abraham, we also share that attribute of hospitality, that great commission that we all share. And I don't know anyone practicing that any better at this point in Dallas, Texas than the Dallas Islamic Center. And so I'm going to ask the congregation at Lover's Lane United Methodist Church to recognize our brothers and sisters at the Dallas Islamic Center by giving you a hand. And I am going to present a few gifts before I start, so they will listen closer. And one to your very gracious Imam, Nihat. I'd like to present you with a little book called The 3 Simple Rules, A Wesleyan Way of Living, written by Reuben Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was more than a year ago, I think, when we met and we started talking about this, and it's been a long time coming, but we're so glad that we were persistent in making this happen. And Abe, you were one of those who was most persistent. Will you come forward, please? Thank you so very much. And I understand we're going to talk a little bit more about future events that we might hold together. And I also would like to present one to Dr. Soli, who is here, part of the planning committee of Abraham's Table. Did I say that, pronounce that correctly?
His name is
Soli. 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 And also one to the person who is the MC of the evening, Osman. And when I get through with my lecture, I'm going to give my last book to Yasin because he told me who needed a book. And was a gracious host at our table with Timon, and thank you very much for your wonderful hospitality. I want to say that it is very much in the midst of hospitality that Allah, God, can be found. And throughout my talk tonight, I'm going to try to use Allah, God, and Jesus for we Christians in a very similar way. For our teachings in the life of Muhammad and in the life of Jesus all call us to lives that practice hospitality, all based on Father Abraham. Abraham's table reminds us of that tonight. The very first Quran I was ever given, and it has been on every pastor's study I have had in my ministry, was given to me by a mom in Kansas City. When I was in seminary there, we were in seminary at St. Paul School of Theology, and annually we would be hosted by the imam there in the mosque in Kansas City, and we would spend most of the day there. We would enjoy a meal together. It was kind of the precursor of what's Abraham's table here in Dallas. But we would pray together, and we would learn about the Islamic faith. And I remember the very first visit, we received this translation of the Quran. And since then, I have received gifts of the Quran from several friends, including this group, the Dallas Islamic Center. I want to say also that there have been members, Islamic brothers and sisters who have frequented Lover's Lane United Methodist Church to teach in our Sunday school classes and other groups at invitation to teach us more about the dynamics of your faith and the many components of faith that we hold in common. I do not think of a larger community of our Islamic friends have ever been invited to worship at Lover's Lane. And for that, I'm sorry. I do want to say that a few years ago, we practiced what we called the block party, the summer block party, and we invited, similar to Abraham's table, we invited people from other denominations, Christian denominations. We even had the Temple of Emmanuel was present at one time in one of our other Jewish congregations, but we've not had an Islamic congregation meet with us at Lover's Lane. I want to extend an invitation tonight. I want us to think about it. I want you to think about this invitation to join us in worship on September the 11th, 2011, this year. We may want to get together before then. We've been talking about Ramadan. But this is the 10th anniversary of a great tragedy in our country, isn't it? And we know that this day is a day of pain for all of us. But let us be reminded that God often gives us our greatest blessings. Allah often gives us our greatest blessings in the midst of our greatest tragedies. And through this day of heightened suspicions and increased judgmental attitudes and bigotry, it has caused us to come face to face with one another.